question to you is, Delphine, that given that now CBAM is clearly a permanent part of the EU Green Deal architecture, from your perspective in the DG's office, what are the key messages that you would like to give, particularly Indian producers and exporters, to take away about CBAM's long-term direction and how it will clearly influence the market access in the EU for the years to come? Given that in India, in any case, we are very, very excited about having the India-EU deal also ratified at the earliest, so that we can all enter each other's markets and make the most of it. Over to you, Delphine.
Thank you very much, Sanjay. We are aware of the concerns raised by the third country stakeholders. But besides the fact that the CBAM is one of our tools to address a challenge that we are all facing, which is global warming. And I think we will all recognize that this is something that we cannot forget about. I don't know what's the situation in India right now, but in France, I'm sorry, I work for the EU institution, but I'm French. So in France, we have a heat wave, which we never had, with temperatures we never had in history. So I think we all recognize that we must decarbonize our industry, our production process, our consumption. And carbon pricing has been proven as a very effective tool to decarbonize. So I think we will all agree on the objective. The CBAM applies to imports of goods. First, it's not a barrier. It does not prevent the import of goods. It puts a price. It puts a price on the externalities, meaning that if you produce dirty products with high embedded emission, you will have to, or your importers, not even the operators, but the importers will have to pay a significant price. But if you, operator, you can use the CBAM, will be a competitive tool. Your products will have a much lower CBAM financial adjustment and will be very competitive on the EU market. So my advice is decarbonize. This will be recognized under the CBAM financial adjustment, and you can use CBAM as a competitive tool.
Yeah, I would also like to add, given our experience on working on some of these issues, just for the purposes of clarity for our audience, CBAM clearly and rightfully now also is treated as a structural market access measure, okay? Because it'll, like Delphine clearly said, that if you are having in your product a lot of embedded emissions, then clearly that is not the place where you can export, and clearly it's a pricing measure. Question for all of us is that, as we already have seen in the presentation, I think the impact will extend beyond direct EU exporters. Indian companies selling domestically or regionally may also still be affected, because we can already see that there are many other products or many other HS line items being planned by EU where CBAM will be very, very important. And therefore, it is important for us in the iron and steel and aluminium industries that the companies must therefore examine not only their direct exports to the EU, which is already under the focus, but also the indirect exposure through customers, fabricators, distributors, and many other group entities to whom where we will be making some of our sales of primary products and the finished products which will be going forward. And that is a clear sign that we should take away from all of this. Also, there is a very serious discussion about bringing in more indirect emissions within the scope in the future, which would, in most likelihood, further tighten requirements on energy use and upstream inputs for Indian industry. And therefore, the key message is that the immediate action is value chain mapping and a CBAM roadmap. And clearly, some of us, we can see in the industry, have already started mapping the EU exposure. But I would urge that the EU, that when we are doing this mapping, we should do it by product, plant, customer, destination market, and clearly prepare a 5 to 10 year roadmap covering all aspects of your business, which means whether it's data systems, whether it's contracts, whether it's customer communication, capex planning, verification, readiness. And this would be very, very important for us to be, ready completely from a fully structured assessment. And this is where, as a firm, that we are already building with some of our clients, because this is what we will get to see. Yes, I clearly understand there is some sort of things that we are expecting to see off and on coming from EU, but let's not forget there are other markets that we are looking at. UK, Canada, Australia, all of these other markets are also planning to bring in some form and manner a measure, and therefore it's important that how do we sort of move around this line.